Hitler was a big admirer of Richard Wagner, the opera genius, who was also a known anti-Semite. For its 150th anniversary, the Bayreuth Festival he founded is facing its complicated past head-on. This year, it opens with Rienzi, an early work by the master composer.
It's a major work, a masterpiece. Its music, structure and themes make it one of Wagner's strongest. So it belongs here, especially in Bayreuth's anniversary year.
It tells the story of the rise and fall of a demagogue. The decision to open the anniversary festival with Rienzi caused some controversy, not least because Hitler was fascinated by the opera.
It's a Wagner opera that had a profound influence on the young Hitler. There are accounts of him seeing it in Linz and falling into a sort of trance after the performance. He was in a state of complete rapture. At 17, he spoke about how he himself would become that kind of populist leader, how he would restore Germany's greatness and change the course of world history.
Hitler was an ardent admirer of Wagner. The overture from Rienzi became the soundtrack for the Nazi Party Congress.
It's a work that's very heavily tainted. It has a very specific link to National Socialism. The character of Rienzi is associated with Hitler. I think these associations come very easily, partly because it's inherent in the work itself. So the piece itself isn't innocent when it comes to the way that it mesmerized people and lured them in.
The production transports the work into the present day, staging it in white, black, and red, the colors of the Nazis, as a warning against populism and megalomania. The Bayreuth Festival has a history of staging provocative productions. Wagner himself incited hatred against Jewish people. Despite this, the festival is known to attract Germany's political elite. But this year, criticism is mounting.
I'm astonished that, for decades, the entire German elite has waited here with bated breath for Wagner's music, smiling and happy. But hardly anyone has publicly expressed ambivalence.
Heute habe ich das Wort und der Antisemit Richard Wagner muss zuhören.
The 150th anniversary brings a sea change for the festival. For the first time, it's honoring persecuted and murdered Jewish musicians with a memorial event. However, there was controversy when the management first announced the ceremony, then canceled it. So is the festival truly confronting Wagner's legacy and his anti-Semitism? His great-granddaughter Katharina, together with Jewish author Michel Friedman, is sending a clear message about remembrance culture.
Eine Geschichte, die aber ebenso eng verwoben ist mit dem dunkelsten Kapitel unseres Landes. Angefangen von den antisemitischen Ausfällen Richard Wagners selbst.
Below the festival theater on what's called the Green Hill, a cantor prays for the Jewish musicians who were persecuted and murdered by the Nazis. By touring the exhibition Silenced Voices, Katharina Wagner and Friedman aim to fight against repression and anti-Semitism. The powerful exhibition describes the fates of individual Jewish artists and how they were silenced. Under the Third Reich, 50 members of Friedman's own family were murdered. He's calling for an urgent and thorough examination of the close connection between Hitler and Wagner.
Wagner wasn't a Nazi. He died too early for that. But the Wagner family, right here where we're standing, named Hitler an honorary member of the family. And that's why I say this is historically tainted ground.
This was the 1940 Bayreuth Festival. Winifred Wagner, the composer's daughter-in-law, was the artistic director. She admired Adolf Hitler and was a fanatical Nazi Party member. Winifred Wagner celebrated Hitler as a guest of honor and welcomed him into the family.
The Wagners were not just sympathizers. They had been very close to Hitler since the early 1920s. There was probably no other family closer to Hitler than the Wagners were. There really was no other figure who influenced Hitler in such a fundamental and long-lasting way as Richard Wagner.
Hitler wasn't just fascinated by Wagner's musical works. He was also inspired by his writings, where the composer spread his anti-Semitic views. For example, in the 1850 pamphlet, Judaism in Music.
For him, as an ideologue, the Jews were the embodiment of evil in the world. And that evil had to be fought, of course. In published writing and correspondence, he literally referred to them as the tangible demon of humanity's decline. And he believed that the Germans should take steps to expel this demon.
From 1940 to 1944, the Bayreuth Festival became known as the War Festival. The Nazi organization Kraft durch Freude, or Strength Through Joy, invited citizens to attend.
Die Festspiele wurden damit wirklich zu einer Volksveranstaltung in dem Sinne, wie es Richard Wagner einst selbst ersehnt hat.
Da wurden eben Soldaten,
wounded soldiers and armament factory workers, mostly people with little formal education, were invited to Bayreuth for a short vacation free of charge. They were required to watch the performances, to put them in the right ideological frame of mind, so to speak. And they got to experience Bayreuth as a sort of resort. There were no tickets available for general sale during that period.
After the end of Nazi rule, Winifred Wagner had to answer for her close relationship with Hitler as part of denazification proceedings. Her sons, Wieland and Wolfgang Wagner, took over as directors. At the festival's reopening in 1951, they called on visitors to refrain from political discussions and debates. Did that constitute repression? In 2026, the Bayreuth Festival is sold out. This year, after initial hesitation, the directors initiated a debate about the festival's troubled history. Michel Friedman spoke at the memorial event for persecuted Jewish musicians. His words were a call for Bayreuth to continue down the path of self-examination.